All set, Doc?
Yes. He said you guys need to.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. I love to see this place filled up. Got a few more chairs. Let's go get someone from outside and bring them in. So welcome to the May 21st Town Council meeting of the Pittsfield Town Council. I'd like to invite everybody to stand and recite the pledge of allegiance with me, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. Let's follow up, just a moment of silence, please. All right, thank you all very much. So first order of business will be that, what was the date of the last meeting?
May 7th.
May 7th, okay.
There are no minutes tonight, Mr. Mayor.
No adoption of the minutes?
Be on the next meeting.
Okay. All right, we will do that. Let's move past number 4, right into number 5, presentations, congratulations, introductions. Anything we have for that this evening? Very well. We're making great progress now. Number 6, public hearings, none scheduled for this evening, so we will go right into number 7 reports, and I will hand it over to Mr. Jacob Grant for town manager report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, council and everyone. Public Works garage roof was completed last week. Good thing. Most of us, I'm sure, have seen the cable trucks around town doing work. Fidium Fiber is expanding service of its all fiber internet network to more than 2,800 homes and businesses in Pittsfield. Their project also includes parts of Burnham, Detroit, and Palmyra. Through this fiber expansion, thousands of local residents and business owners will have access to multi-gig speed fiber internet service. Residents can check their address for service availability at fidiumfiber.com. Johnny and I met with Oliver Associates this morning to discuss the Birchwood Terrace project. It is very likely that the town won't receive the CDS funds that we've been awarded until next year. Oliver's plan is to get that project put up to bid sometime this fall for the work to commence next year. Annalise will be at the next town council meeting to discuss the project with you further. Goral Palmer will be at the next town council meeting to discuss the initial concept of the Main Street project. Originally supposed to be at tonight's meeting, but they had to reschedule. They had a conflict. Our RFP for legal services unfortunately received no bids. I have since started contacting law firms individually, and there are 2 that are interested but have yet to submit a proposal. Job well done to our police department on their successful bike rodeo this weekend. And lastly, transfer station stickers can now be purchased both at the town office and the transfer station. As always, proof of residency is required when purchasing a sticker. Also included in your packets are the monthly department head reports and the April expense and revenue reports. That is all that I have.
All right, very well. Thank you, Jacob. I will bring up the ordinance committee report. We met briefly before the meeting this evening. We discussed 2 topics, a proposed ordinance for commercial solar energy facility moratorium and a proposed consumer fireworks ordinance. Make some changes to both of those. The ordinance committee voted in the affirmative for both, and we'll move to the council consideration this evening to set to public hearing. So that's what we have for the ordinance committee report. Number 8, old business, there is none. And we'll move into number 9, new business. Nicole, if you would, please, let's start off with resolution 24-56, please.
Resolution authorizing the town manager and the grant administrator to file an application to Somerset County to be part of a county-wide Homeland Security grant application to the Maine Emergency Management Agency.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 24-56.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. Any question or comments from anyone in the audience on resolution 24-56? Very well. I'll close the public input. Chief, you had something you wanted to?
Nope.
Okay,
Wait for the question for.
get ready. Okay. All right, council, any questions or comments on resolution 24-56? Very well, hearing none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 24-56, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 24-56 passes. Nicole, resolution 24-57, please.
Resolution authorizing the town manager and grant administrator to file applications to the foundations for grant funding for renovations to the reuse building during 2024.
Wait for a motion to council, please.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 24-57.
Second.
Move to second. Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions or comments from audience on resolution 24-57? Very well, hearing none, I will close to public input. Council, questions or comments on resolution 24-57?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't see a dollar amount for this grant. Or whether or not it had a match.
There isn't a specific grant that is being applied for right now. The request is if there are grants with no match, and Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, to authorize us to apply for those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would allow them the option to move along without waiting for the next council meeting
Right.
to request another approval to do so.
Yeah,
Correct.
just wasn't all that
Yeah.
clear, so.
Yeah.
Makes
And
sense.
all set? Good to go.
I think, yeah, I think so.
Catherine, is there anything you wanted to add to this?
Yes, very briefly. There would be no match on foundation grants, and as you know, we've been very fortunate to receive all the grants we ever applied for, but there's no grant funding for the reuse building available to us for the renovations that we need for ADA, at least at this time. So we applied to the AARP, which received over 3,300 applications, and they chose about 300. We were not one of those. The projects that they chose were almost, well, I think everything was for nonprofits, for charities, and we're a governmental agency applying for those. Sometimes you can get them, very rarely. So Jacob and I will talk about the different foundation grants that I find, and then we'll apply for them. The original project was a little bit under 17,000. We may need to break it up between two foundations, but generally there's never any match for a foundation. So we'll do the best we can to try to get some foundation funding that normally is for charities and nonprofits.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, go ahead, Jim.
So if we apply for these grants and we get them, we have to use it for that building?
Yes,
For the purpose identified in the application, yes.
Okay. And there's no other buildings that these grants would be better suited for? I'm trying to think of buildings around town that.
Well, I think with the reuse
That's
building, there was, we had a lot of in and out with that. I mean, that became kind of like a
Right,
community
yeah.
center in a way.
I think they're doing this through like a recycling, a reuse perspective.
Okay.
Grant specific to that, and it would be difficult to utilize that sort of funding for any other building in town.
Sure, okay.
yeah, the town manager is correct. These will be small grants. Our other buildings, if they needed work, need more work than the amount of money we would receive through a small foundation.
Okay. I'm good. Thanks.
What's that?
Well, the
Well,
roof on that building is pretty rough shape. If you drive by, look at it, it's bad. So if we're gonna, I guess if we're gonna put the effort into getting a grant like this, we gotta put the money into fixing buildings, but actually something we're gonna hang on to for a long time, or I guess that's like discussion I think we're gonna have later on about facilities. That's one we ought to have about that place to see, you know, we gotta keep investing money in it to make it worth something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine in this.
yeah, it's gonna have to be the whole thing. I think it's just gonna be the first shot across the bow, if you will.
See what
Try to make it viable again.
Okay.
Any else, council? Yes, Catherine, briefly, please.
Informational briefly, Donnie has advised me that the funding has been approved for the roof on the reuse building. We would never do any work to it until the roof
good.
is straightened out.
Excellent.
All right,
Good to hear.
Thank you.
anything else, council? Very well, here and now, since we are ready to vote, all those in favor of resolution 24-57, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have a resolution 24-57 passes. Nicole, resolution 24-58, please.
Resolution appointing Nicholas Barrow to the planning board for a term expiring 12/31/2027.
Look for a motion to council, please.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2458. Second.
Move to second. Thank you, gentlemen. Anyone in the audience wishes to speak on resolution 24-58? Very well, I'll close the public input. Council. Questions or comments on resolution 24-58? Very well, here and none, I sense we're ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 24-58, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 24-58 passes. Nicole, let's go to ordinance 24-05, please.
Ordinance adopting the town of Pittsfield commercial solar energy facility moratorium ordinance. First reading, to be set for public hearing on 6/4/2024.
I'll look for a motion to council, please.
Make a motion that we set ordinance 2405 to public hearing on June 4th. Second.
Moved and seconded. So before I go to the audience, now this is not a discussion on the ordinance, it is a discussion on moving it to public hearing. Which will be on June 4th, if so passes. So any questions or comments on setting ordinance 2405 to public hearing from the audience? Very well, here and none, I will close the public input. Council, any questions or comments on ordinance 2405 to public hearing? Very well, here and none, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of ordinance 2405 being set to public hearing for the meeting on June 4th, 2024, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, ordinance 24-05 will be set to public hearing June 4th. Thank you very much. Nicole, let's wrap up with ordinance 24-06, please.
Ordinance adopting the town of Pittsfield consumer fireworks ordinance. First reading to be set to public hearing on 6/4/2024.
I'll look for a motion to council, please.
Make a motion that we set ordinance 2406 to public hearing on June 4th, 2024. Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. Once again, before I open to public input, this is to discuss setting ordinance 2406 to public hearing only. So with that, I will open up the audience. Anyone in the audience wishes to speak on setting this ordinance to public hearing? Very well. Here and now, I'll close public input. Council, any questions or comments on ordinance 2406 to public hearing on June 4th? Very well, here and now, since we're ready to vote, all those in favor of setting ordinance 24-06 to public hearing on June 4th, 2024, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, ordinance 2406 will be set to public hearing. Thank you, councils. Thank you, audience. So let's move on to discussing items. What I'd like to do is let's start with the Spirit of America Award first, because I think we have a handful of people that will be talking about the Pittsfield Community Theater. We'll do that next. We have plenty of time at the end. So I'd like to open up discussion of the Spirit of America Award. That is a yearly award that the council votes and decides a worthy citizen of the town for this award. So I'd like to open up to the council. Any nominations, ideas? Doc, anything?
Yeah, we've had a list and there are some good people on it. But I'd like to add a couple of names. And these people have been active in town for a number of years. And they're basically starting next month, we're going into our 9th year of summer concert series. I think that, Jen Lux and Barbara, Hanson, would be well deserving of this award. They brought something new, to the town. They brought, the concept of revitalizing the interest in the town. Jan has also led, the bicentennial committee, several years ago. Specifically, I think the two of them are well deserving. Jan and Barbara have worked, I'd say diligently. And I sat through many coffees with Jan, and several with Barb. In the middle of winter when it's snowing, talking about, who's gonna be coming next summer. So, this is the 9th year, next year's the 10th year. And when it first began, I'm not sure anybody had the idea that it would be maintained this long. So I think this is something new and potentially, hopefully to be carried on for many years. So I think they're both well deserving of this honor.
Excellent. You think Jan would do the next bicentennial thing?
Yeah, he'll be.
I'm sorry, I had to.
That'll cost you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be the oldest person in town.
The Boston Cane's yours, it's a gimme.
Yeah, okay.
Council, any other suggestions?
I'd like to throw Woody Moore's name in that. Woody's been in town for a long time, really involved in the community with the kids. Recently went through is going through some hardship, with his health and the community. I can't remember Pittsfield Rec without him, honestly. Like the amount of kids and people's lives that he touches is amazing. The spirit that he brings to the town and reflects through the kids is, it's contagious, honestly. Like he's just one of those people that when you're around him, you wanna be better, you wanna try harder, you wanna be in better shape, you wanna eat healthier. Like he just has a good positive effect on people, not just kids. But he does influence that younger generation more than a lot of people do. And when I think of Pittsfield and I think of the community, I think Ann. So I think he's worthy of that. Not that I'm not trying to add more clutter to the list, so there's a lot of good names on there, trust me, but I think he's definitely one that deserves it.
All right, excellent. Anything else, council? We have the two names we want to vote on?
We voted tonight?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So the two nominees are a duo of Jan Lux and Barb De Niro Hanson and Woody Moore. So by a show of hands, council, let's vote all those in favor of Jan and Barb. 2, and all those in favor of Woody Moore. And 3. So we have 3-2. Woody Moore will be the recipient of this year's Spirit of America Award. Excellent. Thank you, council. Some very good thoughts and ideas that came out of that. So thank you very much. So let's move on to the next item on the agenda, Pittsfield Community Theater. So we all know this is a landmark, and I've always called it the one of the jewels in Pittsfield's crown. So the council has been considering disposition of the theater, both as real estate, as a building, potential business, potential theater again. So after last meeting's discussions, it was decided that this needs to have more public input. So tonight is a workshop. We will have discussions, come up with some ideas. We will not be voting on action this evening. That needs to go through the resolution through the council. So what I'd like to do is open up this evening and start with the audience. Anyone in the audience wishes to speak on the theater? Jamie, anything you'd like to provide? I know you're kind of like our resident expert, you know. You knew I was gonna call on you. Yeah. So would you mind coming up so we can hear you? Well, I can send the microphone back. I don't know if I have enough. Okay. Thank you for this.
All right, I don't,
If you just let everyone else know who you are.
I'm Jamie
wait.
Benson. I ran a theater for a little while till COVID hit and, you guys shut it down.
Ouch.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about what I was gonna say tonight, and I was supposed to come last week or the Tuesday before, but, I think it would be a shame to shut it down completely. I truly do. I think it's a gem. Is it gonna need work? Absolutely. You know, there's been 20 years where nothing's been done to it. You know, and that's just how it is. But there's so much you can do with that theater. I mean, you know, I was thinking about this tonight, like they put a diva show on, you know, it was like this great show. And it brought people from every walks of life together with laughter, with fun, and like in a world we live today, what a better place to do that. And I just think that we need more things like that. And I think if you shut this place down, I mean, if you wanna sell it, that's too, sell it to somebody who's gonna keep it as a theater, I think that's a great idea too, if you don't wanna, we don't wanna put the money into it. But there's so much that can be done to that theater. There's a lot of, we can do. And we've done a lot of fundraisers in the past, and I think what I heard from people, what I heard them say is that. We're doing fundraisers and we're collecting money, but nothing's being actually done to the theater. Like the roof still needs to be fixed. The inside, you know, there's stuff that needs to be fixed in there. So how do we do fundraisers and have it go to the theater and what we need? Yes, it paid bills. Yes, it did that stuff, but there's maintenance that we need as well. So how do we do fundraisers and we make that happen? We need new chairs. I literally duct tape. Had mustaches on it, so it was really cute. The chairs, those need to be taken care of, you know, like there's these little things that need to be done, yes. But I think it would be sad, I don't think it would be beneficial for the town to shut it down and just leave it, you know? I think it's an eyesore right now, and I walked through it and I was a little like, oh, why haven't we like taken a little bit of pride to keep up with what we can, you know, like have someone go in and vacuum, like stuff like that, because it's a mess in there right now. And there's a bucket by the lights, which is really probably not well collecting water. Like, and yes, I'm gonna say it again, I understand money, I understand the bottom line, I understand what that looks like. But we have to do something. And I feel like we've been sitting on this for a really long time, like it either needs to go for sale and keep it as a movie theater so that we can grow and make that a great thing. Or as a town, we need to step up and do something with it. I know when I ran it, we had such a great committee. We had Ann Matthews, we had Amber Quinn, we had Jen, we had Jerry Lynn Perkins, and they fought for that theater every day. And I think that we need that again. And I just think that either the town needs to step up and help and do it, or we sell it and give it to somebody who's gonna take care of it and make it what it was always meant to be. So that's what I have to say.
So let me ask you a question before you step back.
Yeah.
With your experience with the theater, I mean, birds of a feather tend to flock together. You must know of other people that, I mean, would there be any information that you have? Is there contacts that you could reach
Yeah.
out to in your
I
function
do. I
as a
got
former
some,
theater
I
manager?
know that there's the Camden Film Festival and that happens every year. And I think reaching out to them is very beneficial because I think there's some gems inside the theater that you can actually, I know it sounds terrible, but you could sell them and get a base money, you know, like those huge projectors. We did have an offer from a large company that I don't have the contacts for them anymore. For that would have paid for the roof and that type of stuff. So I think you reaching out to them, but I do have some contacts left over, not a lot. But I could find them.
You know, I think we'd be very appreciative if that's something that,
Yeah,
certainly if you don't have the time to do so, because we all
No.
have our lives, if you could share with the town manager, I think with a resource time, we can start reaching out.
yeah,
Cause I agree with you. I'd love to see it as a theater again.
Yeah.
However, we gotta be practical in what the town does with
yeah,
it. So,
absolutely.
so that's why we're here trying to,
Yeah, so yeah, I do have some
discover all
contacts
options.
and I think there's some great fundraising things that you could do to get it going again. I know that we had talked about, and it might have been Ann's idea actually, finding out how much it would cost to reupholster each one and having someone donate the money to do it, and then you get a little plaque on the back. Like, there's just little things that we can do to improve it. But just have to implement them and make that happen.
Right.
So, yeah, so I definitely can share some of the contacts and have to dig for some of them, but
greatly appreciate it.
yeah.
Thank you for speaking.
you.
Thank you for coming. All right, anyone else in the audience wish to speak? We have a handout back there. Hey, Ann, please.
Ann Matthews, Pittsfield resident. About 14 months ago, a group of us came together. Well, we've been working longer, but we came here and we made a proposal. And it wasn't really recognized or paid attention to. So here we are again, saying that our group, the Bijou Theater and Enrichment Center, would like to negotiate with the town something. We are ready to, we have filed with the state. We are not going to file with the federal government until we have some sort of commitment with you folks. We're not going to ask people for money until we have some sort of commitment, not gonna bother people, not gonna get hopes up. But we so much would like to come together, quite a few of us are here tonight, and with the town, and get that place up and running, and hopefully expand and make it more of a community center, as well as the movie theater and theater to highlight the town, Main Street. So again, we're willing to negotiate. We would love to work with y'all. There hasn't been a lot of action. And we can't do anything with it still sitting in the town, whether we can do, there's multiple things we can all discuss, but I'm not gonna get into that now. Just wanna let you all know that we are still interested. And we would love to work with Jamie. She is a wealth of information. We'll put her right on the board. So thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Ann.
Any questions?
Are you guys a 501c3 or no?
We are registered with the state. Fred is the guy that helps us with that, so we've got a lawyer in place. And I said, we are not going to spend the money to go further with federal government. We have a fiscal sponsor. We've tried very hard to get everything in line, other than going out and asking people for big money. Because you got one chance to ask people. And you can't nickel and dime them forever. We're gonna have to put a big fundraiser together. We're gonna have to probably hire somebody to do that, but we need your help. We can't do this if it isn't a whole community. Because it is for the community. It's not for any one of us. We just want to see something viable on Main Street that people can enjoy. They've been doing it for 100 years. And we'd like it to continue.
I have a question. Is your proposal to lease this space and then your group will manage all of the operations, expenses and business aspects?
Yes, we want it to come out of the town because we can't get a grant as long as it's owned by the town. We are willing to negotiate whatever. If
To
it's
purchase the theater?
like, well, our proposal 14, 15 months ago was a small offer. It was really
purchase
small.
the theater?
Yes, but again, there's no negotiation. It was like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And looked at me like, now you can sit down.
Hey, Ann, I wonder if you wanted to revise that, and gather up again, because we have different counselors in place. If you wanted to set a time and represent to the council.
I'd love to see.
Yeah,
Sure, sure. We had kind of laid out a time frame of what we would hope would be, how we could do the steps, obviously. The roof, we can put new carpet on, we can put new seating down, but it's not gonna do any good until that roof is fixed. And, so, thank you.
So I got a question.
Oh,
So 14 months ago, we had this conversation now we're kind of 14 months smarter about where we're at. Is there anything different now about what you see economically or with possible vendors, not vendors, but donors? Is there anything that's changed in those 14 months that's like in our favor or in the other direction? Or is things pretty much neutral?
well, as far as, you mean like grants or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean grants, I mean
Seeking
private
grants?
funding, because economically, the world's in a lot different place now than it was 14 months ago. So does that look like a challenge going forward? Or is that not really?
Well, I think whatever we do over there is gonna be a challenge.
Oh, I totally agree.
And we're gonna have to have everybody's support.
Right,
we've been doing this for years now. We waited more than a year for somebody to come in and save the day, and it didn't happen. That building is gonna fall in. It's gonna be like the one next door. And the roof's gonna come in.
Out of curiosity, do you have a rough idea of what was the estimate to get everything back up and running for your group?
Well, we do have it written down, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but if you would like me to come back in, we can put our heads together as a group. And give some estimates. I don't know, do you know, Natalia, that it's old now, but there was a Ames assessment. The Ames company went in there and evaluated everything. You probably heard.
I heard a little bit about it, yeah.
Well, of course, the pricing's changed drastically, but not everything on that report needs to be done immediately.
Right.
What needs to be done immediately is the roof and the marquee. Somebody's gonna get hurt. And, you know, I don't wanna say anymore. Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate you listening. Thank you.
We don't have to wait until the next meeting to get that out, right? I mean, if you can,
Email that?
yeah, we can send it along.
Thank you.
I mean, if, it's fine, but, yeah, I think we ought to have it presented as a council, have
So have
a
it come
discussion.
back and do a little.
Have a formal discussions, we have a, give them together.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear what, Eric said? If you have it set, if you want to send it out as an email, the council can digest between now and whenever you choose to, set up another council meeting to do a presentation. And, certainly have it available, publicly as always.
Have
But
questions prepared so we can not waste any time.
I guess what he's saying, instead of having that at the last minute, here's all the stuff we want to discuss tonight, give us a yay or nay. I mean, that way give the council more time to kind of digest, understand, ask questions and, very viable questions like, I mean, the economy has changed significantly in just 14 months, so that's gonna change. And whether it's yay or nay.
It's gonna
don't really
change
know.
again in another 14 months.
Right.
And back when the Ames assessment was done more than 10 years ago, it was, it's just.
Yeah.
At the last council meeting, I think there was some discussion about a committee getting together of all you folks. Was there some sort of committee?
Greg mentioned creating a small committee,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not the entire group, but a portion of us and whoever else. That was
That might
Greg's
be
suggestion, but
great to be able to work with them, but. And I also want to ask, is this a microphone?
Yes,
Okay. So the folks at home that are listening to this and trying to hear it on their phones and their computers can hear you gentlemen very, very well because your voices are very deep, especially Mike's and it's right in front of him. But this sweet lady can't hear her when you're trying to watch from home. So I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
thank you.
thank you, Ann. Anyone else in the audience speak? Yes, please.
Okay, thanks, just for a moment. So
Could you identify who you are?
I was actually gonna start with that. So my name is Angela Aguirre and I am a new resident to Pittsfield. I've only had a home here for a couple of years now. And the reason I actually stepped up was because the theater was one of the things that ultimately helped us make the decision to buy a home here. We didn't know the area. We were looking at homes all over Maine. We came from another state. And when we were going around the town, it caught our eye and it was just something we're like, you know what, this is something that you don't see. It's something that's been around for a really long time. And I understand it's not up and running, but I think it's something to think about. I mean, I'm new to this town. I don't have the history that a lot of people do have. But yet it was something that drew me to become part of the community. And so I think it's something to think about as you're moving forward. If it's bringing in other people, it would be sad that maybe to lose it. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there.
Well, thank you and welcome to the town. Glad you picked Pittsfield. We think you made the right choice.
He's like, prove it.
I know, the gauntlet's getting thrown down. I know, I got you. Yes,
I just want to say the Watsons, Jen was part of our theater committee, before COVID. And they said exactly that same thing. One of the reasons why they chose Pittsfield was the park, right down from their house to the movie theater. They could walk their young family to the movie theater, to the library. And that was one of the reasons why she was on our committee. Young people and people moving to town, they like that.
thank you. No one else in the audience would speak? Yes,
I just want to let you guys know that this is on our website, this is the assessment. If you look through that on the website, there's a lot to it, but really, the theater does need a lot, but it doesn't need, I mean, this is like things that everything doesn't have to be done. So to get that back up and running, some of the things on here are things that you could work on as time goes by. Like, do you have to really have the seats completely fixed to open it up again? No. I mean, it's just like little things, if you can take it apart and go through, it shows pictures of the place, it gives the history, everything, so that's on the town. That's right on the town.
that's what, you're referring to, the Ames assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the price might look really high when you're looking at it, but if you look at it in detail, it doesn't really have to have all of that done. And I agree, everybody in town that has so much heart for this place, there's things that can be done to keep it.
Yeah.
What is the price on that, out of curiosity? I'll just give you my money.
So, Amy, what is that called, on the website? Is it an old intuitive spot where people find it? Is it called, the Ames assessment or theater or?
I think it was under theater,
Okay.
it was under theater assessment. So
Okay.
yeah, I can try to find it and then.
Yeah, no worries. I just share anyone that's, listening on, out in TV land.
Yeah, you do kind of have a hunt for it.
Okay, all right, thank you, Amy. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak? Okay, I will close public input. Council, any thoughts and ideas you want to share this evening? I'll start with Doc and I'll just go around the table here. Doc, anything you wanted to?
You there in the theater?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Jason?
No, not right now.
Is this our report for the night, or is this just for the theater?
No, it's just for the theater, and then we're gonna be going to the audience for the report for the ninth.
Okay, so I've talked to a lot of people in the past week just about this, and it's pretty clear to me that it's not, I mean, it's a community thing, and it takes community is the individuals in it, the businesses that are part of it, the nonprofit organizations, and I don't think without some sort of collaboration between the citizens and the businesses, that it's really ever gonna get enough traction to actually do something. It really needs to involve MCI, it needs to involve the hospital, it needs to involve Chimbro, and I hate to see these guys, they need a little bit of pressure, but I think they need some ideas, right? How can you use this? Is this part of the ballet program? Is this part of training? Is this part of drama program? Is this part of jazz band, you know, and jazz choir? I mean, MCI is not a math and science institution by itself, right? There's a lot of arts that go on there and that they're very proud of. And there's no real facility to be super proud of when your kids are performing. Is that the facility? You know, and I'm a very, I hate it sometimes, it's very black and white, but I have passion for what kids do and what people, community can do and come together. It's gonna take everything. And I don't know how you collaborate that group, but if there is a committee that gets put together, it has to involve some pretty influential business leaders and some heads of schools and the businesses around and the nonprofits and the community, what's the name of your group, Jen? The summer concert theater, group, right? That, if it rains out, why are we not doing that inside the theater, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff, we gotta collaborate. How do you make that come together? It takes a leader. One person has to drive all that and pull it all together to make that work. So someone has to step up and be that person and get the pull of the community, and it happens. I'm not that guy, like, I'm not that leader. I wish I was.
Now I can't ask my question, okay.
I feel like.
I wanted to pull
takes
that
someone
loop,
that can pull it all together.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only way it's gonna work. Because I mean, the theaters shut down everywhere, right? They're shutting down because they're not having that collaboration or imagination. So that's my take on it, and it's kind of blubber a little bit, but that's where I'm at.
All right, all set? Yeah, I appreciate your passion. I really do. Cause I've been known to have it too.
I've never.
Not nearly as, no, not nearly as creative as you there, right? Well, appreciate that. Natalia, anything you wanna share?
I have to say, I agree with what Eric has to say. Interested in hearing and reviewing every option. I expected the quote for renovations to be higher, actually. I think it's gonna take partnerships. It's gonna take a lot more than one small committee. And I think that we have to be realistic, you know, as nostalgic as that is for all of us, it's not 1990 anymore. So I'm interested in knowing what the volumes were and what we would expect them to be, to make sure what we're gonna put into that, is there gonna be a return? Is it gonna be what we hope it would be? And I don't know that, but I'd be interested in finding them.
Excellent points. I just want to close out real quick. So I had the opportunity with Jacob and Amy to tour the theater. I've never been up in the projection room, never been down in the cellar. Actually went down the cellar way in back where all that dirty, nasty stuff is done. I saw the original foundations of Pittsfield practically. And all the memories came flowing back. First movie I ever saw was in that theater. And it was Don Knotts, The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. Look it up. Yes, it's old. Yeah. I know I look a lot younger than that, but that was, it may have been a re-release. I don't know. I don't think it was the original album. But all the memories I had coming back, the smell of the popcorn, just watching the popcorn and when the screen comes on and that orange glow clock up in the right-hand corner on the wall, that thing has lasted for generations and is still working. Plus the history that I have personally, my grandfather used to own that many years ago, and I believe was the first, I want to say the States, but I think it was first east of the Mississippi that had air conditioning in the theater. My grandfather had done that, so I'm quite proud of that. So I do have a dog in the fight. I know I've come across as close it, get rid of it, let's move on. But I've also said, I think if we can find a viable tenant, and I've always called it one of the jewels in the crown of Pittsfield. I don't want to get into a point where we're subsidizing again with the amount of $50,000 plus just to keep it open. So, being very practical, the business plan on what the town does with it, how they work with it, any kind of pay to play deal or anything that, so we need to be smart about it. It's not going to be what everyone wants to hear, but that's the way I will need to approach it. I hope, Jamie, you can have some, contacts you share. Thank you very much for offering that very much. I greatly appreciate it. Amy, I appreciate your suggestion on that. And, Ann, we're looking forward to, another presentation on that. One thing that, I don't know how practical it would be, just keep this, going. One thing that, Jacob had shared during our haunted theater tour. No, it's not haunted. No, it's not haunted. Was to maybe have a meeting or a workshop in the theater itself. It's been closed for a little bit and it has that closed musty feel, but it's still the theater. And as I said, I haven't been in there for quite a long time. So that's a thought that we've been kicking around, whether it's practical or not, but that will certainly get the creative juices flowing. I'm sure we'll get people in there. So thank you all very much. Any council, we good to go? All right, so
Clarification, I'm looking for direction as to.
well, what I'd like to do, because if Jamie can get the contacts in time, if that's something you could bring to the next meeting if you'd like to, or if you could share with Jacob, I'm sure with the resources of what you have in the offices, you can probably do a little research and come up with something. And you and your group, if you wanted to set up a follow-up, redo the presentation, let's kind of go visit that idea again. And I think for right now, those are the two options we have to move along. Okay. So let's go to see what Ms. Jensen and Ms. Matthews would have. If they're ready for next meeting, fantastic. If be a little bit, we can certainly schedule that. So thank you again very much for that. All right, so very well, let's move on. We now have public comment, discussion items to wrap up the meeting. So with that, I will go back to the audience. Anyone have any thing they'd like to discuss? Questions or comments? Yes. Now, this is not just about the theater, it's
Nope.
wide open, okay,
Definitely not.
well, within reason.
So my name is Shannon Peppard, and I have had a slight problem recently with my neighbor moved in February, and he got a permit to build a building. And it's currently being built within a few feet of my residency. And I have gone to the code enforcer before anything was put up, because I had questions about a garage being put so far back, knowing that my land would be in the way of him getting to the garage with all of the current structures that are currently on his property. I was told, no, everything's good, everything's good. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right, because he's gonna have to go through my property to get to the garage. How does that work? And I was told, no, I'll check that, it's good. And then when the structure started being built, and I noticed that's not how a garage is built, because those are on the ground. I went and asked again, and I was told that it's still within the limits of the permit, and all of that. So I have some documents for you, which is the building permit, the assessor's lot information, and a paper that you can find on the town of Pittsfield, that kind of, it explains what you need in order to get a building permit. If you'd like to look at that. I basically don't really know what I'm asking you, other than I have been trying to, before anything was even put on the property, to figure this out, and it didn't sound right. And the building is completely finished, other than the exterior, siding and what have you. Literally, the person steps out onto a porch he didn't have a permit for, and still I don't think has had a permit for it. And he is 2 feet from my property. No, my land is not surveyed before anybody else says anything. It's been in my family for a long time. My grandparents bought it when my dad was a kid. I've lived here for the last 18 years. There are stakes from a survey that was done. Their stakes have always been there. My grandmother told me, that's where the line is. There's a stake there. It's got a name, it's got a number on it, blah, 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 blah. And if I'm following where my property line is, it matches the assessor map, which I've been told you can't follow, except for on the top of the permit, it asks for the assessor map, page, and lot number. So I am getting a survey when my uncle comes up next month, because that's as soon as it can be. I don't have money to just have a survey done all willy-nilly. I'm also not the one trying to do anything to my property, just live in it. They're the ones that have built something in a place that should not have been built. The permit, in my opinion, looking and reading the directions and reading what is required for a building permit and when it should be checked and all that stuff, doesn't follow any of that stuff. There's things missing, nothing's to scale, the other building's not on the permit, all of that stuff. So
let me ask you a question. Are there questions that you have not been, that have not been answered for you? I mean, I would think that the CEO and town manager have been very forthcoming in explaining to you.
basically, they
permits.
want to stay out of it.
I'm sorry?
It's a civil suit, they said.
Okay, yeah, well, if it is indeed a civil suit, then they certainly can't be involved with it, and neither
So-
can the council.
How can it be a civil suit?
So I think the civil suit is happening after the building is already put in place. Like, the permit shouldn't have been approved. All of the things required for the permit, needed for the permit, everything like that, when looked at, are not there to okay the building.
Okay,
So now the building is there. And now the
Yeah.
person has gone hog wild and putting other things onto the building.
okay, let me ask you, and for my edification, what, and I'm trying to ask this without sounding rude, because I'm certainly not trying to be disrespectful. What do you need the council? What are you expecting from the council? I'm not following. Because if you've gone through all recourses, and it is possibly a civil suit, as you mentioned, we really have no input that we can or should provide, so I'm not sure what resolve you're looking for with council.
Well, personally, I want the council aware that building permits are being granted when they shouldn't be. And when, I mean, the dimensions are totally off. When they should not be, because I mean, living in the town of Pittsfield, you should be able to live on your property and not have to worry about somebody building a 20 by 24 foot building feet from your lawn when it's a 20-foot setback.
Well, I certainly can't comment on that, but I will say that our CEO is very professional and he's done a very good job. But I will say where I lived in town, there was a building inches from the line. And
But
it was
when would that have been built? Would that have been built a really long time
It
ago?
was put in well after the house was built. And they haven't changed that much, I assume, so I guess what I'm saying, I understand your frustration. I don't understand all the particulars of the situation you're in. And I certainly can't comment on that or give advice, or all I say is that the CEO, our town manager, all the town employees are available to work with you on trying to resolve issues or provide direction or maybe clarification, or maybe give you understanding. You have a perception of maybe it's like this, where it's actually like that. So what I'm saying is that if we can provide all we can, we will be available for that. As anything past that, if it is beyond that and into the civil part of the law, which as you mentioned, it may or is, we can't get ourselves involved with that. We can't make this decisions on that.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I don't have the answers for you that you probably want to hear, but what I'm saying is that if there are some items that do need clarification from what you're saying, and we have the resource to help you out.
Well, so there's, okay, so when. Find my. So for instance, this piece of paper right here, I highlighted on because I highlighted some points that were followed in the process. This is on the Pittsfield webpage. That it has, Pittsfield building permit summary, what's required for the permit. So I guess my question is, why isn't this followed? A site plan drawn to scale that will show the location of your proposed new buildings, setback distances from the road or street and property lines, driveways, existing buildings, well, and septic system locations.
So did you ask for that scale drawing?
It's not there. Like, it's not a scaled drawing.
Well, I don't need to say, what I'm saying is that, if you have certain points, you could probably make a list. I don't understand this, I need that, I disagree with this. If you have it listed, you can certainly.
All I've gotten though was it's done properly. But
Yeah.
there's 3 numbers on there. There's 2020, 66. Oh, and what the long length of the property line is. But there's no other building that's already on there. There's no septic, there's nothing.
I really am at a loss. I really don't know what I can say to help you out. Without getting into the minute details on that. If you haven't got, what you would find significant resolve from the CEO or the town manager, I would probably set up another time and be very specific. Show me where this number is, or I don't understand where that line is. I don't really know. I'm just making suggestions, not being involved with myself. I'm saying is that there could be a simple, misconception of what you believe is this, or what we believe is that. It's just gonna need a discussion and go over probably literally bullet points. How about this? Where is this line? How about this sketch? I don't understand. What does that mean? I don't really know. That's all I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think there's probably a communication issue that would probably help if we just sat down and this is what I really need. Because I know you're very passionate about it. If they did it.
I've been asking
No,
questions since
no.
it started being, since I was told the garage was going in their back lawn.
It's not a garage. It's not a garage.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I know, I know the town manager, the CEO will be available if you need the time.
I have tried talking to both and I get the same answers. And it's just, he thought it was good.
Well,
He thought it was good.
it's, it could be possible that the answers are the right answers. Maybe it's just I don't know.
So
You need permits.
Please, hold on. I'm gonna have one person speak at a time. You'll have a chance to speak, okay? Thank you.
So if I were to decide, I have 66 feet in the back, the length to his property and to the person next to me. If I decide I want to build a 60-foot building and I think I've got that 20-foot setback. Is that all I need to think? I have a 20-foot setback. I can draw my picture, my 2020. Don't have any dimensions on this building, leave off my house, and then I'm good to go, because I think I have.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna do these what ifs. I'll deal with facts and I'll deal with actuals. But it sounds like if it hasn't been surveyed, that would probably be a good place to start. Because if it's surveyed, you have actually posts in the ground and lines on a map, you'd have something. I don't know. That's the only suggestion I can come up with. Cause other than getting involved with it right from the very get-go with all the little details, which I don't need to, because the people in this town have already done that. I don't know what I.
To the manager yesterday, he said to bring it to the council.
Well, if the council will listen and hear, but my suggestion would be, it sounds like there may not be communication where it needs to be. It's possible that you may not be getting the answers that you want, but it's possible that it's interpretation of what this document shows and says as compared to what, you know, this person's opinion says it does. I've been in that situation. I'm not making a judgment call on either side, on anybody. I'm just saying is that I think another discussion could probably be had or more communications. Yeah, please.
Do we get guidance from the town attorney? And the town attorney said this is now a civil suit? Is that kind of where it was left off with the town? Yes. Yes. So I think as a council and as a town, we're governed by our lawyer, and our lawyer gave us guidance as to the fact that it's a civil suit at this point. You know, I don't know the ins and outs of everything that happened.
Ma'am, please. I'll let you speak. Show some respect and let the council and the lady speak, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of everything that happened and you know, what the setbacks are or where this is located, but. You know, it's kind of just where we're at this point, and the town attorney is who governs us, so. I know it's not a great answer for you, but I think legally that's kind of where we stand, I think.
Yeah,
And as a council, we don't have anything, you know, necessarily to say about the ins and outs of that. These guys do their jobs, and the town attorney kind of ruled on it, so.
Got it. Might I make a suggestion for anybody listening or the people here? That if somebody starts building something close to your property and you go and start asking questions before anything's even there. Somebody just tells somebody that you're gonna be building something really close to your line. To seek some other kind of legal help, because the questions that you're asking the town office are not answered correctly. Because they're, no, you're good, no, you're good, no, you're good, yeah, check it out. It's not helpful, because then you have a building that literally you open up the door, it's on your backyard. Thank you.
sorry, we couldn't help to your satisfaction.
Can I speak?
Yes, please do.
My name is Tina Pepperd, and my daughter has gone over and talked to him, Jason Hall, a few times, I think, isn't it, Shannon?
You're talking now.
Okay, well, I know she talked to the code enforcer. He has not been helpful in whatsoever, anything. He has the man next door to us doesn't even have permits on anything he's built. How can you build a building with no permits in the town of Pittsfield?
Well,
And she's gone and talked to someone else, I don't know, it's on the council here too. But no one goes by, you can't tell me that none of you guys have been on Heartland Avenue and see what's happening. A lot of people have, and they've been asking us, what is going on? Why is that building there? What about the condemned building?
How come he hasn't done anything with that? The place looks like a dump.
And he has power to it.
My gosh, he hasn't even emptied his sewer in his camper. And he got here in February,
Where exactly is this? What's the address?
215 Heartland Avenue
215 Ireland, okay,
is where, what we're talking about.
okay, all right.
He hasn't emptied the garbage in that, there's garbage sitting outside. Code enforcement says that's a civil suit. He's got 15 bags of garbage out there, that's a civil suit, that's his job. He has not done one thing here. He
Well,
hasn't looked out for anybody. Person can build a building with no, they don't even have to have it surveyed. Or anything, but we have to have ours surveyed, it's been in the family probably for 55 years. That is ridiculous. Our building has not changed in any form. The other building has. My daughter can't get nowhere with anybody here. It's disgusting. It really is. You should be here to help her.
Mike, can I?
yeah,
So Shannon messaged me on May 17th asking how to get on the agenda for tonight, and I indicated to her that she didn't need to be on the agenda if she'd like to speak tonight. She is welcome to come to the meeting and speak publicly because there's public comment. And that's kind of how we left it, that she didn't need to be on there. She also asked if she brought documents, if she could hand them out. I said, yes, she could. And she said, perfect, that she would have, copies for everybody.
It
And-
wasn't you, it was, who was
hold
it?
on,
So,
hold on, please.
and that was the first I've ever even heard of this. I've never seen any building up in that area. I don't go around patrolling the town. That's these guys' job, so, just, yeah, not the right person. I did everything I could. And, I guess that's that. I tried to help and it is what it is.
I meant to say the town manager,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was not you, it was a town manager. And neither one of the guys are doing their jobs. Period.
Well, okay. All right. I'm sorry we can't provide the satisfaction you're looking for this evening. There is obviously some communications that are not being understood. And it's very difficult to be logical or reasonable or anything when it gets emotional, and I understand and appreciate that, and I wish I could fix it for you this evening. But there's obviously more involved with it than the council can and should get involved with. And it sounds like that we're being ignorant and ignoring you on that fact. However, the council by charter cannot get involved and make decisions like that. We have our people in town for that, the CEO and the town
But
manager.
they're not doing their job.
Well, I think, honestly, I think that's opinion. I think they're both, ma'am, please. I understand, no, hold on. I think that's opinion, and there are some people in that that are very professional and do the best they can, and you know, having the town attorney involved, given their opinion. Obviously, it's not the way that you would like to hear or see, but I think there is recourse that needs to be followed up on, and the best that can be done without the emotions. I think we'd all be better served. So I wish we could do something as the council, but we can't, as a council sitting here this evening. Sir, would you like to speak?
Yes. Raj Piper, I'm lawyer in Norway.
Yeah.
I've shown the town manager and the code officer, the permit application that was filed, the sketch has no dimensions, the building permit never should have been issued. So I'm wondering how the lawyer determines if this is a civil issue when it's the town's mistake in the first place that created the whole situation. That's what I'd like you to look into. That's what I asked the town council to do. The building permit never should have been issued in the first place. So I don't want to spend a bunch of money in order to fix a problem that the town created. Okay,
Hmm,
That's all I have to say.
okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak
Yeah,
on anything?
I want to speak.
Yeah, please do.
My name is Lisa Dunphy and I'm Jan's aunt. And nobody has given her an answer. When you build a building, you have to have permits. Does not have permits, so how has you guys allowed this? It is escalated because you guys didn't go over and say, you gotta stop right here, we made a mistake. You gotta have a permit for this, and you gotta have a permit for plumbing, you gotta have a permit for electrical, you gotta have a permit to build, you gotta have permits for everything. So how has this building been fully built without a permit? And you should be able to answer that. Everybody here should be able to answer that, because you made a mistake and you made a mistake. That's how. And if you should have the balls to go and say, I'm sorry, sir, I made a mistake. We have to stop this building right now until we look into it further.
Excuse me,
Did you say that?
excuse me. We're not going to have personal attacks. And if it's gonna continue, you may sit. You can continue to speak if you have something that you want to share with the council and with the audience.
Okay.
We will not have more personal attacks like that again. Understood?
That was the only one I've done, but
That's all you'll have.
so how come you guys didn't stop it at that point?
Excuse me. You address the council. You're not gonna,
Okay.
berate any other employee.
Sir, and the town manager did not stop it at that point.
As we've said before, the council is not privy to the details of what was going on with this. We can't comment on that.
How come you not?
Even if I knew the details, this is not the place for the council to comment on that.
So where is the place then?
The place is with the code enforcement officer and the town manager. From what I understand, you've had discussions and meetings with them. You were getting the information that apparently was not to your liking. Or was not proper, or you don't believe was proper.
It isn't.
Because we've had the direction of the town attorney and the town attorney has given direction to the town manager that this is becoming a civil suit, which it means it's not a detail missed here, a detail missed there.
So I
But
can go-
other than that, I am only commenting on the information that was presented to me
So
this evening.
tomorrow,
That's
you
it.
can go buy a bunch of lumber and build where I'm living. I can go do that and I don't have to have any permits whatsoever and that building can stay there.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all, and you know that's not correct.
Okay, but this is what is happening. That's what I'm saying. This is what has happened.
I can't comment
That is why.
whether
everybody is
he
so
had a
upset.
permit or not. There's nothing in this town that should go up without a permit. And if indeed
Yeah,
it
there
was,
you go. You're right. That's
let's-
true.
thank you. Okay. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak, please?
Trustee then.
All right, I will close the public.
No.
Yes, please.
So. My name is Dustin Peppered, Shannon's sister. I just want you to understand, it's not that we don't understand what is going on. Just that the permit was issued for a minor addition to a garage. What would your definition of that be?
I can't say. I don't know. And I'm certainly, I can't comment on that. I'm sorry.
All right, so we were advised to come to the council to talk about it. We're not getting any advice back. Where do we go from there? Wait for the attorney to reach out, are they reaching out to us?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know what the details are on this. I
So,
can't give you
what-
advice. I can't give you direction.
To you is we're looking for it to either be taken down or moved. Where it should be. Where that is. There's nowhere on that property that it could go without it changing size. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for either the building to either stop evolving and eventually coming onto our land because he's been taking out trees out back. And it's getting closer and closer to our property and going over our property. So we're looking for it to stop altogether before it gets worse. And we're looking for it to either be taken down or moved.
So if there's still a question as to where the actual lines are, as I suggested prior, I would say a survey, a current accurate survey
So
is a
what's-
good start, because if indeed what you say is correct, that this person is removing trees from your land is still encroaching upon your land, then you would have something that you could use. But right now, it's your opinion, their opinion, the town's opinion, the town attorney's opinion.
Get that survey, come when you guys are open, the town office is open, we have that survey in hand. Does the code enforcer then come out to resurvey the property?
No, the code enforcement officer will not survey the property. However, if the permit was issued properly, and I do believe that it was, and if this person had built the structure beyond the limits as identified by the permit, then that should be addressed by that landowner and that property owner. Then you would have something real in hand, but right now, unknown boundaries, unknown surveys. I'm only making this comment by what I've heard this evening. I don't know the background of the story. I don't even know where the property is. That's why I had to ask for the address. So that's all I can say, but I do know that the town manager had mentioned that the town attorney suggested this needs to be civil because it now becomes between property owners. And as I said, I can't comment. I don't know. I can't tell you yay or nay. But if there is a survey done and that you identify that the lines are actually where they're supposed to be or they're not, and then you can see what this permitted structure is actually encroaching or not. And because if the lines are in question, which it sounds like it is, it's gonna be hard to, get any solid footing on anything. That would be my suggestion, but that's just my opinion only. I'm sorry, I wish I could give you the answer. I really don't.
I think my sister, myself, everyone is just looking for it to just stop. He's continuing to build onto it. We just want it to stop until we can survey it and then come to you guys to have it fixed, I mean, that's all that we're really looking for is for him to stop. He just keeps on either building onto that fixture, clearing out trees,
Right.
having a fire pit right. The fire pit that he has is right basically on top of that structure and within his camper. And the fence from
It's not 50 feet away.
the condemned building that's already there. I mean, if he were to have a fire and it burned down, cause the fixture that's already there that he has a power cord coming out of, there's no way that that fixture is gonna hold up much longer. It's been vacant for 12+ years. And the town, I think it was owned by the town at one point and you guys talked about tearing it down, but it never was. But he has a power cord coming out of that fixture to the garage it says it's a garage, but now it's a pool house that he's built, that he's living in. So I mean, if anything were to happen on that property, like a fire or anything, and it comes our way, it's just a lot of,
No, I understood. So the town does not have a responsibility to check the property lines of landowners. That's the landowner's responsibility. So I apologize for being blunt and black and white, but that's all we can say.
This is that responsibility.
yeah. I mean, we know the town's responsibility, it's right on your website. It
Okay.
is.
Well, and I'd asked the question before, I mean, is there anything on there that was not answered? I mean, I know you had highlighted to ask those questions, but
None of them have been answered.
none of them have been answered.
So
Well,
when it says that the building inspector will assist you in determining the types of permits needed. Generally, you will need to provide the following information. A site plan drawn to scale that will show the location of your proposed new building, setback distances from the road or street and property lines, driveways, existing buildings, well
Scale.
and septic
The
system
scale.
locations.
I don't know what this is.
That's the scale, map. You wouldn't take it from Shannon before.
I wasn't offered before. What is this?
She asked if she.
No, hold on. What, just, what is this?
Yeah,
That's his to scale drawing,
that was,
showing the setbacks.
This was in the permit.
That is his permit.
Okay,
that is his permit.
okay,
That is his
That's
permit.
the good job that they're doing.
okay.
That's the permit that is,
Once again, I mean, you can certainly send it out, but the council cannot make decisions on whether this is proper or not. That is up to the CEO and the town manager.
okay,
And I mean, I can't give you the answers that you want. The council does not have the authority to do so. We,
the town, you can't give me any answers?
We're not a judge
No,
and jury, like, we're the voice of the community.
hold on a second.
But what,
Listen, I'll answer that question. I don't have the details of this case or this matter to make any judgment call. As I said before, all I've known about this is what I've heard this evening. And I'm just responding to what I'm getting this evening. Thank you.
and I appreciate you getting the packet, hopefully looking it over.
I will.
More. Driving out to Heartland Ave, since you saw your first movie at the movie theater, you know the town, you know where Heartland Ave is. So I would really appreciate you driving out to Heartland Ave, taking a look at the property. See
2:15.
what's going, yes, 215 Heartland Ave.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just looking at it, I guess.
And once again, I sincerely wish I had the answers that you want, but
That's okay. If it's a civil suit, I guess it'll get,
and as I said, it's only information I've heard this evening and I'm responding to what I'm hearing.
obviously that you're just hearing about it. It's been going on since beginning.
The council would not be privy to that information because the CEO and town manager, that's their job to take care of town. That's their job to take care of town business. The town manager, no. The town manager is the employee.
We're no great authority, like, we're here as the voice of the community, like, that's our, like, I am hearing what you're saying, there is absolutely nothing that we can say that's gonna make you feel better, except that we understand now that you have a situation, and we all understand the situation, or at least part of it, and we're here to represent you, like, that's why we're here.
Right,
But we're not here as a judge and jury, like, we're not here to say,
No.
you're wrong, you're right, that's not
but,
why we're here.
okay.
So it's not like this big powerful thing, they don't even pay us, right? This is just, we have nothing better to do on Tuesday night, but.
Yeah. It's not your grandmother's property either.
No, I understand your package, like, I'm feeling it, like, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, if you all wanna check it out,
I'm gonna
greatly
drive by.
appreciate it.
Drive in, everybody else drives in.
Yeah. So, thank you.
I have another
Thank you.
issue. So when my sister puts up no trespassing signs and has cameras and sees that that gentleman has come over and ripped them out and threw them here and there, and Pittsfield PD says they can't do anything about it, well, that's touching private property for one.
Oh, hold on,
Right.
you're talking about a police matter, and if you need to deal with a police matter, you need to deal with the police department. That's not a council issue, we're not gonna get into that this evening.
Champlain is gonna hear a lot of stuff that's going on in this town that's not right.
Well, if you're getting information and you're bringing it to the police department, and they're dealing with it, not to your satisfaction apparently, then it's not the council to jump in and make it change. But if you're not getting satisfaction from the chief, I'm sure that you're probably not getting all the.
Them.
I let you speak without interruptions. I would expect the same respect, okay? Thank you. All I'm saying is that if you have information that you need to share with the police department, bring it to the police department. And I'm quite certain they will act accordingly. Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak? Can I have another lady, have an opportunity here, please? Yes, Catherine, can you make it brief?
I will, very brief. Catherine Rhodes, Grant Administrator. I'm pleased to report that the town manager and I were notified last week that the town has been awarded the SS4A, which is the Safe Streets for All grant, for a safety plan grant and for the supplemental planning project to update the town's bicycle pedestrian lane. So this is a project I brought into you at the beginning of April. We've been awarded $120,000. And so this is wonderful. I also learned today that while we're working on this plan, that we'll be eligible to apply for some demonstration projects. If we wanted to, for example, get estimates for sidewalks, to be replaced in the town, engineering work that we've never been able to afford, bike, paths, raised sidewalks, whatever is decided upon. So we've got a lot of opportunities here, I was told, and it is true. This is the first grant funding for road work, first planning, and then road work that has come through since, I think, about 2008, when the last projects were available. So we're very fortunate. It's a very large federal grant and some other opportunities in the future. So you'll be hearing more. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Would you? Anyone else in the audience? All right, very well, so it's public input. I shall start with Natalia. Anything you'd like to
Sure. I had
Well,
one question I was gonna ask, have we been awarded any of the grants we've applied for? And you answered that, so thank you, that was one question I had. Just to provide an update quickly on our community partner Soul Group, we're up and running, our application is being submitted as we speak. If and when we're awarded, we'll let this group know, and there'll be a town survey that goes out for the group to help us decide which direction that team should head. And that's all for me.
All right, thank you, Natalia. Eric.
I just want to say thank you to the rec department for, I think, the facilities down in Manson Park. I know it's not just the rec department, there's a lot of people involved in that, but the facilities look awesome down there. The fields look great. They just put a lot of turf builder on. The softball field is probably the best I've ever seen it. I've been old now there a long time. Little League Diamond looks awesome. The rec department is just full swing. I love this time of year, right? But thanks to Jan for all he's doing for the concert series and all that. That stuff is great. I know there's kind of a negative tone. We kind of ended this on a negative feel, but there's a lot of good things going on. We are here to represent the community and the citizens. And if you have a problem or need something brought up to us or you need some advice, or that's kind of why we're here. But we're not gonna sit here and drop a gavel and make decisions and take sides, and like, that's crazy. Like, we're not here to do that. We're here just to try to be the voice of the community. So I'm sorry that we couldn't give everyone the answers they wanted tonight. Like, it's like I said, I'm a solution driven type guy. Like, I like answers. And I feel for you guys, I understand it's important to you. And it would be important to me as well, honestly. So I think this is helpful. So thank you. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, sir. Doc, we'll go to you next.
Just a couple of points, Catherine, thank you for the update, and I'm glad that we've gotten a couple of other grants come in. Your list looks a little bit peaked when I first looked at it, as far as what we've gotten approved, so
Yeah, it's
getting
taken
that.
a while, but the federal one was very quick.
Yep. The discussion on the theater tonight was particularly interesting. And I will be interested to hear what the proposals are and what the potential negotiations could be. Overall, I think the theater's been a part of the town for well before I've been here, certainly, and all of us have been here. But I think the important thing is with the potential rehabilitation to Main Street and the group Heart and Soul getting going, and particularly working on priorities for the town and projects that could potentially come to the town. I think the concept of the theater and what it is and what it could become is all the more important. So I think that will be, interesting. One last point is, I understand that there was a budgetary meeting tonight regarding the school budget. And that's always a huge part of the overall tax implications for the town. And I just wanted to go on record as stating that when we created the budget for 2024, the council that's here now created that and was approved in December for 2024. It was an absolutely flat budget, so that when the tax bills come out, please don't come to the council and ask us why. If you have real concerns over it, and the school budget is part of it, the county budget is also part of the tax bill that we don't have the absolute number for yet. But to have the meeting for the school budget on the same night as a council meeting was, I think, poor. So if you have any concerns, there will be a public vote on it, and that will be in June.
I think so.
With the primary? Is it with the primary?
Yes. 11.
Okay, please cast your vote and review the budget. So with that, I'll say fine. That's it.
All right, Don, thank you. Jason?
Yeah, so tonight, obviously, kind of a negative tone overall, I think, but, and I sympathize with the Pepper family. If I was, in a situation like that and maybe disagreed with folks and it was my property, I would probably be as passionate and upset as you are. But I also think that the code enforcer, the town manager, everybody that works for the town is doing a fantastic job. There's a lot that goes into a lot of things and, we might not always agree on certain situations, but communication and going about things the right way is kind of what we're striving for. And I think, we're trying to do that. Obviously, the council's not really gonna, like Eric said, be the judge and jury on this situation, but yeah, hopefully we can come to a resolution that makes everybody kind of happy and I just yeah. But anyway, the employees of the town have my full support and I think you're doing a fantastic job. But at the same time, I sympathize with the Pepper family, so that's pretty much it.
Also?
Yeah.
I'll be brief in my closeout. I had a number of things I wanted to discuss and bring up. I want to address you folks. I will be reading this. I will be looking at it. I will drive by the property. And the only thing I will disagree with Jason is that, if it's my property, I'd probably be as angry as you. I would be doubly as angry as you. And I know it does nothing to placate what you're feeling right now. It doesn't give you the solution you need. But I will look into this. I will read this. I will study this, and I will talk with the town manager. As a citizen, as a council, as the mayor, I can't tell them what they can and can't do. I don't have that direction. The council does not have that authority. We have a town manager and employees that work for him to do that. But if it does anything, and it probably doesn't mean squat to you right now, but I will take a personal interest in and see what I can find out. At least understand if that helps at all. It doesn't, I know. Because I put myself in a position and I feel awful, but I can't. Honestly, as the mayor, I can't. It's just the way the charter is written. The authority is given with the town manager and direction is given to him from the people that work for him, the CEO, the police chief, the fire chief, and everyone else in this town. And if there's anything in question that will need further input, we have the town attorney to provide us direction. And that's, my comments were based on what I heard this evening. So if I sounded cold and difficult and just plain illogical, that's how I was reacting. And I certainly hope I didn't come across as personal. I wasn't trying to take it personal. I just wanted to be as calm and unemotional as possible. So I hope you didn't take that way at all, but I will look into this. I can't say I can fix it. I can't say I can sway anybody, but I will look into it. And I'm sorry, I can't fix it any other way. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We adjourn.
Amy. Amy.